Hey guys, welcome to a new video, and of course we want to talk about the new announcement which actually happened a couple weeks ago. But Microsoft is hiring people to help with emulation of old school games to be backwards compatible with the new Xbox. So this is great news because I felt like when they had their 20th anniversary, they really had kind of like pushed out the rollout program for a lot of like backwards compatibility. But some games didn't make that list, and I was somewhat disappointed, even though I was really happy with how Microsoft had been pushing backwards compatibility. Like they knew that the customers cared about it, so they really wanted to put something together. But now, a couple of weeks ago, I read that they were hiring more people to jump on board to make more games backwards compatible. So this made me really happy because I feel like if Microsoft could do something where they get to 100%, and I feel they would actually do it. You know what I mean? Like, they shown that they really care about what the consumer wants, and what the consumer wants. We want backwards compatibility. We want to be able to play our older games on the newer systems. Now, the way that they're going about backwards compatibility is, I think, of course, emulation. I mean, if they use emulation, they may have an easier way of making this 100% for us, and that works out for everybody. So one of the things about this, I love to see like people playing the older games and really appreciating them, because back in the day, and I want to say probably in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, a lot of creators like were left. They were able to create what they wanted with certain games. Today it's more like, well, they're kind of like almost like a subscription service in a way. And I don't want to go over too many games that do that, but my personal experience with games, I like having a complete experience. And then, if I want more, they can add DLC to that to keep it going a little bit. Like an example, World War Z. I love how they're doing like yearly story DLCs for that game, because that game is just fun to go back to, especially to play with friends. But going back to the backwards compatibility, why this is important is because as you guys have seen, a lot of gamers today, they love sharing their experiences. So going back and playing older games that might not have really like popped out back in the day, like really got on people's radar, just they were kind of underlooked. Those games could be appreciated now, and with that appreciation, and interest, you may get sequels at games that deserve them. So that's why I feel like this is really important. At least one of the reasons why this is important. Microsoft is really like shown me a lot of stuff over the years of what they're willing to do to kind of make the consumer happy. First thing was the online, pushing online back in the day. If they haven't pushed online like they did, and would Sony be where they're at with online? Who knows? It would have probably taken years. People always ask me what games I'm collecting these days, and honestly, it's been 360 and Xbox as of right now. I've been looking at a lot of that stuff that was overlooked back in the day, and I've had talks with Jason about Xbox. Our appreciation for that system, and even today, I'm finding stuff that's so hidden on that system. And this backwards compatibility will make things right, because we want people to have those experiences with these games that just get overlooked. And like I said, it's possible that some of these games may get a new breath of life, and maybe like a remake or a sequel will come out for them. That's the importance of backwards compatibility. Well, at least one of them, compared to like people just being able to play their games on modern consoles. I don't know when we'll start seeing like more new games as a result of Microsoft hiring these new guys. I'm hoping within, I don't know. For me, I want to see something within a couple of months. I want to see stuff rolling out. But I understand this stuff takes time, because I got to test these games out and make sure things are running properly. But what I'm hoping from this is that companies like Sony will take notice, and start doing the same thing. I understand the PS3 is a really difficult system to emulate for, but they can make it happen. They just got to put the people on it, and backwards compatibility with PS1 and PS2 should already be on the table. That should already been with the PS4. I'm hoping with the release of the PS6, because we know that's coming out probably in the next couple years. We'll see something, that thing will be fully backwards compatible with all the older systems. I mean, at least that's what I think at this point. For the people who have been supporting these companies for years, man, I think backwards compatibility is a must. But another thing for you guys, I mean, what do you think about backwards compatibility compared to like real hardware and emulation? Which do you think is better? Now, obviously, we know emulation is probably the cheaper route. That's why something like the Switch is doing it. But would you rather like them have like a mini system built into the other system for backwards compatibility. I mean, it would be 100% if that was the case. But yeah, already saying that sounds so costly. So yeah, emulation seems to be the way to go. But being that this is an Xbox video, guys, I do want to say this. There's a lot of original Xbox titles and 360 titles out there that you guys should keep your eyes out for. A lot of great games that are very obscure. And like I said, hopefully these games will be more well known when emulation becomes more like fully available for the systems, you know, like where we have more compatibility. So look out for those games, guys. There's a lot of gems out there. And the best part about them is that these games are on the cheap. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching The Radical One, and I will see you all later.